Hi, and welcome to Wrong Way. And today's video is addressed towards the EUC companies that we have in our EUC world. So, let me tell you more about it. Wrong Way. Sorry, by the way, if my voice sounds a bit nasally. I am dealing with a bit of allergies right now, so that's why. And I already made a video like this last year, and it will probably sound a lot different than this year. A lot of things have changed, and we've learned a lot, really a bunch, as a electric unicycle community. But one thing didn't change, and this is the love towards riding electric wheels. So in this video, as a background, you'll see me just riding casually in Warsaw, as I do pretty much every day or every other day here. And when it's cold and the bike paths aren't plowed, then it's not so nice to ride around. But now the quality was pretty cool, so I went out for a ride. And before we address the four major EUC companies individually, I wanted to just speak out about the market itself. And I think that the general consensus as we have as a community is that we're really tired of just low quality wheels and dealing with repairs and dealing with, I don't know, spare parts that aren't there, and getting first batch wheels that turn out to have some problems because it's just like the first batch of production does and there wasn't enough testing. So I think that in general, the thing that I would like to see in 2022 is a improved quality of wheels. I would love to see more safety implemented in all of the products, like a smart BMS that will be now in the Kingsong S20. By the way, these sort of BMSs are in pretty much every Xiaomi and 365 scooter, so this needs to be implemented. And I'm really looking forward to a wheel that would be approved with the UL2272 form or norm, which is for general electric vehicle battery safety. So we could just like have a peace of mind with the vehicles that we're using, because what started out as like a sort of a toy or a niche product or just a thing that maybe someone wants to show off with, now is a legit mode of transportation, and people are using it for deliveries, people are using it to go to work, people are using it just for fun. But the point is that we use them a lot, and the performance is growing, the range is growing, but therefore also the quality and the safety has to be there, and also the right water resistance or waterproofing. The industry as a whole is still very young and evolving, and naturally there will be hurdles and problems along the way. However, with the growing number of users, with the growing experience, and also growing battery sizes and motor sizes and speeds, mistakes can become more and more problematic, like for example with the Begode fires that not only endanger you as a rider and your home, but also others around you. And this is also why I will be pulling my reviews of Begode products off of my channel, where there is no information about proper use or proper disclaimers about those wheels. Nevertheless, I see the EUC future very brightly, and I think that more and more riders are conscious about what they're buying. I think that in general the community as a whole has a tremendous amount of safe riding people, and most of us are also pretty gear oriented, which I really like. And I also slowed down a lot, as you can see, to just make the commute and make the ride, make the relationship with cyclists, with pedestrians better. So with that said, let's get into the companies and what I wish for in 2022 and going on. First up is InMotion, and I gotta tell you that the year didn't start out that well for them, because they have an issue with InMotion V12 wheels. However, they are somehow tackling the problem. I know if it's the best solution with those spin tests, and come on, replacing a MOSFET with a soldering iron, that's like very difficult to do. But they are dealing with their issues, and they're not just hiding, trying to not accept them. For InMotion this year, I hope that they change mainly the MOSFETs they're using in their wheels, especially in the V12. We could see that they are just not handling it. They just don't have enough power reserve. Both Kingsong and Begode are using bigger MOSFETs, the 247s, and InMotion still sticks to their old ones. Now, this is especially a big problem for heavier riders or extremely hard riding. I didn't ever have a cutoff on a InMotion wheel, but I'm also weighing 75 kilograms, so either they need to change that or they need to just lower the maximum weight allowed on their wheels. I also hope that they improve the robustness, especially also of their lighter wheels like the V8, the V10, so the axles would be stronger, or the pedals would be stronger as well, although there are also already some iterations about that. I hope they make the honeycomb pedal they use their new standard. But especially with those axles, with those pedal hangers, either they need to lower the maximum weight allowed on their wheels, especially the V8, or they need to just make those parts stronger. Other than that, I think that InMotion is a young company like all of the EUC companies, but there is a lot of tech behind them. They really care about safety. Their BMSs are really solid, and there was no InMotion fire from the V11, V12, so their products are pretty good. Now, if their boards could just handle more load with those stronger MOSFETs, with those more powerful MOSFETs, this would be just a really great all-around package, much closer to perfection than it is now. Oh, maybe one more thing I would be looking forward to is, or I would wish, is that they improve the bearings on the V11, although they're improving them already, but maybe just the durability of those wheels in a mechanical way could be improved overall. Okay, let's move on to the next company. Now let's talk about Kingsong. And in general, I think that Kingsong are really solid wheels with a bit more powerful boards, and I think in general their quality is just a bit more robust than InMotion. Now that doesn't mean that they're perfect. I think that definitely some of you went through a motherboard change, and I think that the main issue they have is that they just start to get a bit rattly over an extended period of time, especially the 16X and also the S18. I heard of several cases where they started to just shake a bit too much, or they have the motherboard screws loose, so maybe they just can figure out some sort of mount or use different sort of screws, or I know, Loctite, to make them a bit tighter. And in general, if the motherboard just gets better, or the controller, this is always a welcome addition. But mechanically speaking, well, it's pretty great in terms of the 16X, of the bearings there. With the S18, I've heard of some cases, of course, with the suspension having more parts need to be serviced. And in general, the S18 does have a bit of a small battery, so if you're a heavier rider, that's not the best wheel for you. So I hope that with their future iterations, they consider heavier riders and bigger battery packs. But I hope that's what we will see in the S20. Well, that's what the specs are telling. But in general, mechanically speaking, pretty solid wheels. Maybe the shells could be a bit more robust. However, it would be great if their wheels would finally get an official IP rating. But yeah, I'm looking forward to all of the wheels by Kingsong in 2022. Now let's talk about LeaperKim, or Veteran. Now with the Veteran Abrams, I just don't really get what they were doing. Like, it seems to me it's a bit of a prototype that just went out of their laboratories a bit too quickly. And so I'm not really going to focus on this wheel too much, but in general it would be great, LeaperKim, if you would just make a bit more testing, maybe also give a bit more thought to what you are creating. In general, when it comes to their wheels, I hope that all in all the quality gets higher, because I heard of some cases where batteries are just not working that well when those wheels arrive, some dead cells. But the great thing about LeaperKim compared to Begode is that your BMS will actually tell you about that, and there are also fuses. So in general, I would like to see a improved quality and also improved quality of bearings, because also in this Sherman that you're seeing, I had to change bearings after 3,500 kilometers. Now, they were really punished, but it would be great still to have this better quality. In terms of their batteries and their BMSs, I hope that they get a separate P line for charging, which for example Begode now has, and in general improve the quality and safety of their batteries, maybe even use a external company like InMotion and Kingsong do use. I'm very much looking forward to the Sherman Max, and I think that the improved torque instead of speed is a good solution, but maybe a high torque wheel would be the perfect option for me. Anyways, I'm looking forward to test that wheel. I would like to see a official rating by Veteran as well, which would be like, come on, IP65 on the Abrams, that's just a joke. I mean like a real rating with real tests. But in general, I think that LeaperKim is moving in the right direction, maybe except for the Abrams. They did a great first product. They just need to improve their tech a bit and also their quality. Put the temperature sensors on boards on the right spot, and also put them on the BMSs, because currently I think there are none. Possibly also get that UL2272 norm that I was talking about earlier. So yeah, if you make another new wheel that is not the Abrams or the Sherman, give it a bit more thought and maybe you can make another great product. Now let's talk about Begode. And Begode is the company I'm most disappointed with, mainly because they are not dealing with the problems that already exist in wheels that they have produced. Talking about the MSP, Nikola, RS, there have been over 20 fires now recorded with those wheels, and there hasn't been any statement about what might be the cause, what they need to do, what not to do with the wheel in order to prevent that. They just send you a replacement wheel, which you actually will need to pay the shipping for. This is not good, as you might imagine. Now, still, I know that there's a lot of wheels out there and fires are still a small, very small percentage of it, but we keep hearing about it more and more, and it's really bad that channels and I don't know, individual people have to find out and investigate what might be the cause for that in order just to prevent that sort of thing from happening. Now, there will be also a future video where I will show what might be the cause for that, but I want to really have the right info. So just as a suggestion right now, I would suggest to you, especially if you're a heavier rider, not to decelerate, brake too powerfully, especially if you have a full battery, not to really abuse those wheels too much, not to ride in rain if you have a RS or another not water resistant altogether wheel. And I would also advise you not to leave it plugged in at the charger when the battery is full. Now, with that said, Begode, I hope that you increase your quality of your products. Products tend to go out with good quality, with bad quality. Some are made this way, some are made another way. Some have a bad seal under the motherboard, some have a good one. So I think you just need better consistency with your products. And also, we get a lot of wheels every year by Begode, and I think that they just need to make one that is more solid. Now, I still see improvement, for example, with the newest BMS on their packs. It's already a lot better than it was before with the separate P line for charging, but I still see some problems in terms of the behavior when the battery is fully charged, which I'm going to address, as said, in the future video. I think Begode should implement a tilt bag for overpowering, not a beep, because this is just safer. So this is also a wish for Veteran. And yeah, just make wheels that are actually water resistant. And the Begode RS, the MSP, this is just a product that needs a lot of improvement in order to be water resistant, especially at the trolley handle. So Begode, I wish that you will implement the following things. We want to have, or I wish we would have a connection cable, a communication cable from the BMSs, from the battery packs to the board. The charging has to be followed up through the board. The charge port cannot be hot like it is now. It has to be activated once the wheel recognizes that there's a charger inside. Every other company has that, just Begode doesn't have that. I think that the separate battery packs shouldn't be connected in parallel. That should be going directly into the board so we can find out which one is faulty, if there's one faulty. And the wheel definitely shouldn't be rideable if something happens to the cells inside, or if the BMS goes haywire, which actually still can happen. So yeah, Begode, you need to do a lot to improve your products. I would also want the shells to be more robust, and the battery casing should be also a bit more safer than they are now, both from water ingress and for mechanical damage. Mind you, I once received a wheel that didn't have any silicone on the blue shrink wrap for batteries, so QC needs to be improved as well. However, I do see improvement. As said before, with the new BMSs, the power limits are also way better than before. And their boards, if they're properly assembled anyways, are one of the most durable ones for inclines and heavier riders, especially on high torque wheels. But they really need to address the old wheels that they still have, because if they don't, then we will keep hearing about battery fires, and this might lead to a tragedy, which we really want to avoid. As said, I will make a video about that so you guys can also know what's my point of view for those battery problems. But as it is now, for as long as it doesn't admit to the problems they made and doesn't show you any solutions to keep you safe, then it is not really a company that you could trust in. So with that said, we still all love monowheeling. We like to ride. We just want to have products that have a better quality, that are reliable, safe, and possibly therefore at some point could be also made legal, even in countries that have a lot of rules and regulations that they would need to fulfill. With that said, if you're still here, leave a like on the video, subscribe to see more content like this. I'll see you in the next video. See you soon.